Hey everyone, welcome to the channel where we talk about all things movies. If you love talking about movies and just staying up to speed on, what's in theaters and what's worth checking out, be sure to subscribe and hit that like button so I know, what type of content you all enjoy. But yeah, with that, we'll get right into this review. This is going to be about the new movie Benediction, or at least new relative to the US. So I just got back from the theater, so let's talk about it. And in this movie, legendary 20th century war poet Siegfried Sassoon, his lifelong quest for personal salvation through his experience with family, war, his writing, and destructive relationships goes unresolved, never realizing it can only come from within. And just going over my anticipation for this film, it was non-existent. I may have seen a trailer for it. I don't remember. I vaguely do, but I don't remember what it was about. So I just saw that it was a new movie playing this weekend and went to check it out. So basically no expectations going in. And with that, let's talk about what I thought. So first off, we'll go over the things that I liked about the film. And first and foremost, I thought the acting was really good, and mainly with the main character in Siegfried. I thought the actor did just an outstanding job, as did like all the supporting cast. I thought they believably played all of their characters very well. I also really liked in the beginning of the movie, and it kind of continues a little bit, but it's mainly present in the beginning of the movie when the war is kind of in full swing and Siegfried is serving in the war. It was nice to see that he stood up for what he believed in, that he didn't think that war was the answer to things, but he still, served his country. So I thought that was interesting, and I'm sure it was a difficult thing to live through for this person, as it was, I'm sure, for many others who probably shared his thoughts. But it was interesting to see that he actually, spoke up and didn't just kind of reflect within or talk about it to peers, but he was actually talking to his commanders as well, and could have been reprimanded or disciplined, but for speaking that. But it was, yeah, that I thought was really interesting to see, and it was just good for food for thought on that kind of topic. And then the other thing that I liked was kind of how it jumped ahead in time a couple different points in the film, just to kind of give the story a bit more scope that way. I thought that was kind of an interesting plot device, even though most of it kind of takes place in the past, or the main timeline, and not the future. But those were the things that I liked about the film. Overall, I did have a few negatives. I didn't really care for the kind of usage of the raw kind of documentary footage of the war. For me, it just was kind of boring how it was in there, but it was also like overlaid on top of that were usually readings of poems, and I don't really enjoy poetry. So given that that was a huge part of this film, this is obviously about a poet. I think if I did appreciate poetry, I would appreciate it a lot more, but I don't, and that's just kind of where my tastes lie. So a lot of those parts I just found very boring, and they were usually doing like poetry spoken over, footage of the war, and it was that those parts I thought were less engaging and just a bit harder to sit through. And then while I did like the acting of kind of all the characters, I didn't find very many of the characters all that interesting, and the story overall was just kind of depressing, and it didn't really engage me. I was pretty bored throughout, and yeah, that was, I think it kind of comes down to the story and the characters. And it's not that they were bad, they just weren't interesting for whatever reason. But, thinking on it though, because I feel like it deals with, at least takes place at the same time as one of my favorite shows, which is Downton Abbey. And I feel like some of the tone maybe is similar between them, or between the two. So I was kind of reflecting on, why do I like Downton Abbey, but maybe not this? And I don't know. I think that is a bit more food for thought for me. I know at the very least, Downton Abbey has significantly better music, and I think that has at least a part to play. I do think it is very interesting how much a soundtrack can influence at least my enjoyment of a film. Like, I know that for the film The Lone Ranger, I only like that as much as I do because of the music. Like, that's one of my favorite soundtracks ever, and for that reason, I actually enjoy that film. But if the music was bad, I'd probably think it was a bad film. mainly for that one. So the music really swings my perception of that film and my enjoyment. And that's at least one thing I picked up on. Like the music in this film is not really there, and that's one difference between this and Downton Abbey. Just to kind of reflect on that. But yeah, those are kind of my general thoughts. It's a very kind of slow burn of a movie. I think it's just short of 2 hours and 20 minutes, so it felt very long, and overall I found it to be pretty meh for a film. I'd give it a letter grade of a C. Again, it wasn't bad, but it was just unengaging for me. I found the story to be pretty boring, and at the end of the day, this was a fairly hard film for me to sit through. But, if you've been able to see the film, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Maybe if you have a different perspective than me, and I'd love to hear about it, especially if it can help me kind of appreciate the movie more than I do. Obviously, it's great to get, a movie about a real person and to get to know that person a bit more, so I appreciate it on that level. But still just wasn't a very entertaining movie for me. But if you've enjoyed this review, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe. And with that, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.